of GIS lies in what you can do with the data besides just display it on a map. You can do some pretty powerful things with the data that's driving your visualizations, and that's what we're here to talk about today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lauren Voelker, and I'm a local government solution engineer in the Esri St. Louis office. I serve city and county governments throughout the Midwest as a part of your account team and as another technical resource for you when it comes to the GIS platform. I've only been with the company for a couple years, and before joining Esri's team, I worked as a GIS coordinator for St. Louis County government and police department. I'm actually a really happy person, but I wanted to share this photo of me working at home during the pandemic with two young kids literally climbing all over me at any given time. I hope some of you can relate and just know that you're not alone. So I want to start with just a baseline understanding of some of the concepts we'll be talking about, and let's start with the concept of analysis. Analysis transforms raw data into information or knowledge. Spatial analysis does this for geographic and spatial data. Spatial analysis can uncover patterns that wouldn't immediately be evident if it was just displayed on a map, and we need that spatial component to understand those relationships. Spatial analysis is used to answer questions with a where component, like where is the best location for a new store? How has the land cover changed in the previous year? And where are the most significant crime hotspots? These are all great questions and questions that can be solved using geoprocessing and spatial analysis. Geoprocessing really in its essence is a processing toolkit. This toolkit consists of functions and commands that let you take your data and process it. It could be any or all of the following: spatial analysis, GIS data management, conversion, and more. A typical geoprocessing tool processes input data and produces an output. For example, taking the input point features and producing a buffer or proximity area for a certain distance. It's not super sophisticated, but it answers the question, what's within 1 mile of a particular location, and displays it on a map. Geoprocessing is also a framework you can use to model and automate processes using ModelBuilder or Python scripts. So taking one function, passing it to another function, and then making that repeatable around a workflow. ModelBuilder and Python help with these capabilities. ArcGIS Pro provides analysis capabilities in 2D, 3D, and 4D. It is a 64-bit non-blocking application. This means that you can continue to use the application while a geoprocessing tool runs. Parallel tools can break up big processes into smaller jobs and distribute those jobs onto the different cores of your multi-core machine. Most machines have at least an average of 4 cores, and this can hopefully produce faster results. The analysis ribbon is your key entry point to access the analysis tools that Pro has to offer, such as the gallery of commonly used tools, model builder, raster functions, geoprocessing history, the classic ArcGIS toolbox, and much more. The user experience of the trusty geoprocessing toolbox is driven through the geoprocessing pane. I love this because you can search for tools. You don't have to memorize in which toolbox a tool resides, even though I know you already know. It supports most tools from ArcMap and new tools too. I think it's important to note here that new tools will be developed in ArcGIS Pro and not in ArcMap. It also supports traditional feature and raster data sources such as File Geodatabase and TIFFs, as well as your big data connections. Your big data connections can be leveraged with the GeoAnalytics desktop toolbox, which will bring advanced spatiotemporal analysis tools to life. Did you know that the geoprocessing history pane provides a log of all the tools that you run? I'm a big fan of this because you can leverage the history pane to rerun a previous run tool or set of tools and save your workflow as a model or a Python script. Many tools offer interactive feature entry for drawing simple inputs and areas of entry directly in the map. You can enable undo for approximately 50 tools that modify the input data set. And you can run tools in batch mode to process multiple data sets with minimal manual interaction. Let's take a look at geoprocessing in ArcGIS Pro. You can access all of the analysis and geoprocessing capabilities in Pro from the Analysis ribbon tab. One of the most noticeable features of the Analysis ribbon tab is the Tools Gallery, which gives you access to some of the most commonly used and powerful analysis tools. It's also customizable. Let's take a look at one of the simplest distance analysis tools, Buffer. In the Buffer tool, which is open in the Geoprocessing pane, you can define your input features to process using the drop-down menu, browsing to a feature layer, or drawing a feature on the map. Define the output, feature class, and other parameters, such as distance unit, distance value, and unit. Once your parameters are complete, click Run. Other capabilities in the Analysis ribbon include the analysis tools from your portal. Here I am connected to ArcGIS Online. Interactive workflows like the Site Suitability Modeler, Network Analyst, and Business Analyst are all available on the ribbon and become active once the appropriate extension is licensed. In the Geoprocessing group, I have access to the Geoprocessing pane, ModelBuilder, Python, Geoprocessing environments, and history. Notice here that I also have access to a set of ready-to-use tools, which use ArcGIS Online's hosted data and analysis capabilities. You only need to provide a few input features, as all of the other data needed for the analysis and the computation is hosted in ArcGIS Online. I mentioned these during the PowerPoint, and please note that the elevation and hydrology models do not use credits, but the network analysis tools will. These tools can be extremely useful for generating driving routes, performing watershed and stream analysis, and viewshed analyses on the fly. Click on Tools to bring up the Geoprocessing pane. Here I can search for tools by their name or keywords and get a list of tools that match that criteria. If you're a fan of looking by categorized tools, you can view them by toolbox. So here you can view analysis tools, proximity, and buffer, and other tools that you can use to analyze proximity between different features. Whenever you run a geoprocessing tool in Pro, that tool is logged in your project's geoprocessing history. Here you can see a list of all of the tools I have run in this project, including that initial buffer tool I ran a few moments ago. A new tool in Pro 2.6 is the Generate Origin Destination Links tool. This tool can be used to create spider diagrams or lines that connect origin features to destination features and measure the distance between the two. I'll open the tool from my geoprocessing history, where it will already be filled out with parameters that I used to previously run the tool. I'll update my parameters, set a distance unit, and run this tool again to generate the output layer. You'll notice that as this tool is running, that I'm able to still use the application. I can continue with other tasks like setting my layer properties, or I can share a layer with my connected portal while the tool is running in the background. When the tool is finished running, the output is added to the map, and we can now see lines connecting origins to destinations. If you need more information about how to use any of the tools, you can hover over any of the help links in the tool or view details of any of the tools you just ran. Many geoprocessing tools produce charts that help you visualize or understand the analysis result. You can double-click and open a chart that is listed under your analysis result layer. Here we can see that there is one origin that has a much higher total link distance connecting itself to all of its destinations. And since Pro is a 2D and 3D application, you can view the same results in 3D to help determine different patterns and get a different outlook on the analysis results. So now I want to shift gears and talk about using ModelBuilder and Python to automate your geoprocessing workflows. ModelBuilder is a visual programming language for automating and documenting geoprocessing workflows. Models are a sequence of tools that use one tool's output as input to the next tool to form a workflow that can be reused and shared. ArcGIS Pro has equivalent support for models from ArcMap and many new capabilities like better export to Python, grouping, model builder report view, if then else logical tools, and new iterators. You can automate and extend geoprocessing using Python. To get started, run the tool in the UI, then copy Python or use ModelBuilder, export Python. ArcPy gives you access to geoprocessing tools and a wide variety of other functionality for automation. Python window command line with syntax help and code completion. Python notebook integration in ArcGIS Pro provides code and result visualization in a shareable item. You can use a Python package manager to view and install hundreds of Python packages and fine-tune your Python environment. And ArcGIS Pro Python 3 environment includes approximately 140 libraries, including data analysis packages like Pandas, SciPy, NumPy, and the ArcGIS API for Python. Beginning at ArcGIS Pro 2.5, you now have the ability to schedule tools to run later or at recurring times, and this is built into the Run button. You can run them at a time that's better for a computationally intensive process. You can choose to run every day, every week, every month, or run several tools concurrently in separate processes. You can use the timestamp variable to make a new output each time the scheduled tool runs. You can schedule ArcGIS system tools or custom ModelBuilder, Python, and R script tools. And scheduled tools can be managed in the History Geoprocessing Scheduled Tools pane. I'd like to show you how to easily create and schedule a model to run. In the Geoprocessing History pane, select the tools you wish to include in your model, right-click, and Add to Model. Once those are added to the model, update any parameters you need to, and then save the model in the project's toolbox. When you wish to schedule the model to run, open the saved model from your catalog project toolbox. In the Geoprocessing pane, under the Run button, click the down arrow and choose Schedule. Give your scheduled task a name, a date, and choose OK. Scheduled tools can be managed through the Geoprocessing History Scheduled Tools pane. Let's talk for a few moments about how to share your analysis. There are three primary ways to share your geoprocessing and analysis work. You can share them as a geoprocessing package, a web tool or geoprocessing service, or as an ArcGIS notebook. Packaging and publishing start with a geoprocessing history entry. You can use the Share ribbon tab, and new in ArcGIS Pro 2.6, you can overwrite an existing web tool. You can publish and share a web tool to ArcGIS Enterprise Portal from the Geoprocessing History pane. And you can also publish a set of geoprocessing tools to a standalone ArcGIS server as a geoprocessing service if you're not using a full enterprise-based deployment. Let's talk about online analysis. ArcGIS Pro is designed to be connected to ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise. It allows you to access information and layers stored in your WebGIS. You can share custom analytics as web tools to ArcGIS Enterprise and leverage the full analytic power of ArcGIS, including ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise tools and services. Did you know that elevation and hydroanalysis tools use high-quality Esri curated worldwide digital elevation surfaces and don't require any ArcGIS Online service credits? I want to talk for a few moments about the analysis extensions and our industry-focused analysis tools. The core analysis extensions, such as Spatial Analyst, Geostatistical Analyst, and 3D Analyst, are all available to use with ArcGIS Pro. Since ArcGIS Pro is a part of ArcGIS for Desktop, you are licensed to use the same extensions for ArcGIS Pro as you are with ArcMap. Extensions are simply composed of additional geoprocessing toolboxes and capabilities. The extension licenses for ArcGIS Pro are managed using the same method you've chosen for other licensing, such as a named user license, single use, or concurrent use licensing. The named user option lets users log in and use ArcGIS Pro from any machine, anywhere, at any time. Through an easy-to-use interface, users can connect their named user license to either single-use or concurrent-use licenses. In the case of the named user model, users can activate their license using either ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS. In addition to the standard extensions with which you are probably already familiar, we offer some new core analysis toolboxes for specific industries. These include crime analysis and safety, defense tools, intelligence tools, and cell phone analysis tools. Two of the great functionalities within these toolboxes include link analysis and link charts. The workflow galleries on the Analysis tab contains tools that support exploratory and interactive workflows. This is where you could access the new suitability modelers with the Spatial Analyst extension or the Network Analyst extension, which now at ArcGIS Pro 2.6 has the full support for doing fleet routing tasks using the vehicle routing problem solver. These become active when the appropriate extension license is activated. Spatial analysis utilizes geoprocessing tools to answer questions with a where component. A typical geoprocessing tool processes input data and produces an output. The user experience is driven through the geoprocessing pane in ArcGIS Pro and can be extended using ModelBuilder and Python. You can share your analysis workflows with your WebGIS portal, either ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise. And your favorite ArcMap extensions are available in ArcGIS Pro, as well as several new industry-focused analysis toolboxes. Here are some additional resources for analysis and geoprocessing in ArcGIS Pro. Thank you very much for your time today. If you have any questions, I am on the phone and available. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me today for the ArcGIS Pro Analysis and Geoprocessing Overview.
All right, I was really hoping we wouldn't have to watch that a second time, even though it was really interesting. Hope everybody enjoyed that video. Does anybody have any questions? I don't see anything in the chat box, so even if you'd like to raise your hand, we can go down the list and Tricia can help us out by pulling out anybody that has any questions.
Yes, I'm happy to do that. So far, I have not seen anyone.
Me either.
I was going to ask you actually, have you done any of the scheduled processes by bringing in some of the living atlas data and including that, or is that some of the free credits? That's the hydrology and elevation.
Yeah, so you could certainly add those tools to a model. So for example, when you go into those ready to use tools, it's going to open up, for example, Viewshed, it's going to open that within your geoprocessing pane. And you can actually, under the run button, just click the down arrow to schedule, and you can schedule those Viewshed analyses or any of those ready to use tools right within Pro. So I haven't personally done it, but yes, you certainly can.
Yeah, that's super exciting. At least I have, especially the scheduling piece. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And not only that, I think it's amazing that, you know, outside of the network analysis tools, so when we're looking at hydrology or our elevation profiles, those are all free to use now and don't require any credits, which I think it is wonderful, you know, especially if you're an organization that deals with flooding on, you know, semi-regular or regular basis. Those tools are going to be really helpful in trying to create those flood surface models. If you don't have, say, you know, high resolution DIM or, you know, LiDAR that you need to create those surfaces.
Yeah, that's amazing to have that at our fingertips. Thank you, Esri.
You're welcome. I saw a question from Laura that said, will this video be available after the conference ends? And that's probably a question for Kyle and Trisha. Are you guys planning to make all the content available?
It's my understanding that
Great.
everything's being recorded and it will be available. It will take some time to edit on the front end and the back end. And then it is loaded. Right now it's recording to the cloud through Zoom. So we'll have to download that and then apply those edits. So it may be like a month, but I'm sure we'll get something out on social media and the website.
Wonderful, wonderful. Really glad to hear that. I also see a question that just came over. Can models built in ArcMap be imported into ArcGIS Pro? And the answer is yes. You can take those models and add them to open them right within your ArcGIS Pro model builder scheme and save those to your project toolbox, or even then start to run them in Python. But yes, you should be able to use ArcMap models in ArcGIS Pro.
Awesome. All right, I'm looking for some hands up. So far I haven't seen any. Anybody else have any questions? You can put them into the chat. We're happy to answer those. Okay, well, if not, then that ends this session of ArcGIS Pro Analysis and Geoprocessing Overview with Lauren Voelker. Thank you, Lauren, so much, and thank you, Esri, for sponsoring. We really appreciate you. Just a reminder to everyone that to join us at the end of the day today for the session wrap-up from 4 to 5. And thank you. There are sessions. Thank you. Virtual applause. All right, everybody enjoy your next session.